Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Excellencies, distinguished officials, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamu alaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Peace be upon you, and a very good morning. I would like to begin by thanking Professor Dr. Muhammad Faiz Abdullah, Chairman of ISIS Malaysia, for inviting me to participate in the 36th Asia-Pacific Roundtable today. My congratulations to you, Professor, on your appointment as ISIS Malaysia's chairman earlier this year. Also, my appreciation to heads of Asean Isis for the support that you have given to the Brunei Darussalam Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies as the current chair of Asean Isis. Also, my appreciation to the officers and staff of ISIS Malaysia for the excellent arrangements of the conference. So, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, after a few years of virtual interface owing to the COVID-19 pandemic, it is my honor to be here today in person and to address this gathering of eminent participants. For close to 4 decades now, the Asia-Pacific Roundtable, often referred to as the APR, has been a leading Track 2 conference in the region. Every year, the APR brings together many distinguished thinkers of various backgrounds who contribute to constructive discussions on issues affecting the region's security, stability, and prosperity. Having attended many of these roundtables, particularly as a young officer, I've always been inspired by the APR's intentional, timely, and coherent selection of themes and topics. The APR has focused on a range of issues such as COVID-19, climate change, major power competition, the idea of an Indo-Pacific, all of which continue to add to the uncertainty facing us all today. In this unpredictable and rapidly evolving world situation, it is a given that we live with vulnerability and anxiety. For this reason, I am in full support of the theme of the Roundtable this year, an age of strategic uncertainty. As you are well aware, the Indo-Pacific has recently emerged in our regional security lexicon. It reflects the changing security dynamics, concerns, and the way cooperation is managed. I wish to take this opportunity to challenge participants present to also consider ideas on what can be done to ensure that the Asia-Pacific, together with the Indian Ocean region, remains a driver of global economic growth amidst a peaceful and stable region. In recent years, very few could have predicted the myriad of developments and crises the world has seen, from the outbreak of COVID-19 and ongoing war in Ukraine to the rapid onset of artificial intelligence. With every new development and crisis, we often find ourselves a step behind and forced to re-strategize to cope with changing times. Even with early planning and solid strategies, challenges can sometimes occur along the way and derail our steps. Yet, uncertainty does not necessarily mean we are destined to fall behind. In fact, uncertainty can be a source of improvement, motivation, and innovation, empowering us to be prepared, flexible, and adaptable amidst so many unknowns on the horizon. For many of us living in the Asia-Pacific, strategic uncertainty has become an ever-present reality. Over the past few decades, our region has become an economic powerhouse and the engine of global consumption growth. Home to nearly 2/3 of the global population, our region has some of the world's greatest biodiversity, most diverse ecosystems, and largest multinational companies, as well as the world's fastest growing internet market. By 2030, our region is projected to dominate various areas of development. accounting for 2/3 of the world's middle class and over 2/3 of global GDP. By some estimates, our region will likely determine the shape and direction of global development as a whole. Therefore, the onus is upon us to leverage existing and emerging opportunities to our advantage and maintain a competitive edge. That said, I would be remiss if I did not mention the challenges we are faced with today. As we all know, major power rivalry is intensifying, which could lead to unimaginable consequences. This is very concerning. Such rivalry, if not properly managed, can also increase the risk of the region's long-standing flashpoints escalating into open conflict. With global power shifting to the region, we have also seen a proliferation of unilateral groupings that promise cooperation, but may also intensify major power competition. All these political risks are set against the backdrop of existential threats to the region, such as climate change, biodiversity loss, and the breakout of future pandemics. At a time when we are confronted with intersecting crises, our ability to address them holistically also depends upon our ability to mobilize resources at the scale needed. Here, I ask myself, do we have these resources at the scale needed? And are we coordinated in our response to these crises? Now, let me turn my focus to Southeast Asia and ASEAN as the heart of the Asia-Pacific. ASEAN's global importance has risen significantly over the years, thanks to our increasing economic prosperity, our strategic location at major sea lines of communication, and our key role as the primary convener of regional fora and meetings. Recent projections for ASEAN indicate that we will continue to make positive growth and that we are on track to achieve important milestones over the coming decade. By 2030, ASEAN is poised to become the world's fourth largest economy after the United States, China, and the European Union. 70% of our population will become middle class, with 1% living in extreme poverty. Our GDP is predicted to rise to $10 trillion US, leading to our designation by some experts now as the next economic superpower. Yet, our continued success and potential can be offset by security issues, particularly those emerging from geopolitics, climate change, and the cyberspace. With high stakes at play, we know that we cannot afford to be passive in the face of threats against our peace, security, stability, and prosperity. A question that we continue to ask ourselves is, how do we proactively leverage opportunities and address challenges while ensuring sustainability and resilience? With all these considerations in mind, I'm encouraged by the selection of discussion topics at the Roundtable today: major power dynamics, the Indo-Pacific, ASEAN strategies, the South China Sea, and others. These are topics we ought to be talking about in the overarching context of security issues in the region. The Roundtable today is our opportunity to engage each other in earnest on not just our common issues and challenges, but also our collective desire and will to live in a region of lasting peace, security, and stability. I personally look forward to hearing and learning from the ideas, perspectives, and experiences of every one of you today. With that, I will end now and wish us all a productive discussion ahead. Thank you.